Hey, everybody, this is Sadie. Welcome to another episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. And it's presented by the folks at Tallent Co Real Estate. Be sure to visit them, homeandnoco.com. That's homeandnoco.com, where you're going to be able to find exactly what you want, Shawn. So if they have neighbors like you, they can skedaddle before your trampoline flies over the fence and hits their house.
I'm actually getting ready to get a new thing that could fly over the fence
What are you
because,
getting?
well, my daughter's having her 16th birthday here in 2 weeks. And I've been telling Shannon since we moved into this house 2 years ago that I want some sort of deck or gazebo or pergola or something, because right now it's just a concrete slab in the backyard. It's not a good backyard hangout spot. And I love that. Our last house had a great backyard spot, and this one just doesn't. And so she's always drug her feet, and all of a sudden she came to me the other day and she's like, all right, go get a gazebo. And so I'm gonna get one, but I'm afraid that it's gonna blow over the fence at some point too. One, because I can't afford like an expensive one, and two, you have to put these things together. So I'm most likely getting one from Costco, and every single review that I'm reading, it's saying how hard it is to put it together, like hard. There's one guy, like the top review on there is like, I have construction experience. I worked in the construction field, and this took me 5 full days to put together with 5 dudes. And I'm like, dude, this party's in 2 weeks. Plus, I got a week for it to arrive. So I'll have a week to put it together. And I have a job and I have other responsibilities. I'm telling Shannon, like, there's no way this thing's not going to get put together in time. Zero chance.
Is there a way you can, because I know that there are like different websites and apps that you can go on to get somebody to come out and help you.
Yeah, you can hire people. Yes. So there's another guy on the reviewers, and he did that, and he was like, I hired these people. It still took him 2.5. It took him 2.5 days, and it cost them more for the people than it did for the gazebo itself. I'll just tell you, the gazebo, it's a normal size gazebo. It's like 12 by 14. It's $3,000. And he said it cost him more for the people than it did the gazebo. My budget's $3,000, not another $3,000 on top of it for a bunch of dudes to come put it together half-assed so that it can blow over into my neighbor's yard.
And that is like painful to see, because you do know how expensive those are. But it will transform your home. Like, we have one at our house, and it's like a whole nother room. It's so cool. I love it. We're outside all the time because of it. It's so nice.
Tell me your honest thoughts on this. Because Shannon tells me that she thinks that this could be trashy, and I see how it could be trashy, but I also think, like, in my head, I can make this look good. So they sell, and it sounds like they're a lot easier to put together, retractable awnings. So it's like a nice looking
like on an RV.
Yeah, like basically what you would have on the side of an RV, but you put it on the side of your house, and then when you want it, you push a button and it goes, it comes out, and it looks really nice. And then when you don't want it, it comes back in, and it won't blow away because it's in.
I think that's a really good idea. How much are those? We have some really good friends who have that in their backyard, and it's
good. And you live in the rich neighborhood, so if they're doing it, I can do it.
You're such an idiot, dude, who's like, I'm going to go see Tim McGraw.
I go for free. I don't know what part of that you don't understand.
Fuck that. You got a paycheck from the company.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, please. You're on a big time station, brother.
This is how they rope you into my industry. They're like, hey, you'll get to hang out with Tim McGraw once every 2 years. So
and I'm just like,
you go ahead and work for peanuts.
Really? That really is how they drag people into radio, is all these crazy, weird promises of money and fame.
Fame, for sure. There's never promises of money anymore. I must have got in the
no, there was a time when here's how it goes. And I know you've heard this. We'll get you different endorsements.
Oh, yeah, that's always what it is.
So we're going to give you the bottom line in a salary, but don't you worry. We're on it now. We're going to go get. And
you've got the best sales team in all the land.
It's amazing.
You don't get any.
Don't get into radio.
Yeah, that is the truth. Amen to that.
Yeah.
But back to the awning thing for just a second. So that's good news because Shannon's really worried that this is going to look trashy and redneck. But I do have an idea in my mind, like to really make it like a zen sort of area with some plants and like really nice
Yeah.
patio furniture and like the string lights and all kinds. You can do cool stuff and have an awning. Plus, the other thing that we have that's working against us for the gazebo or the pergola, especially if it's one of these ones that's like pre-made that you just put together,
Yeah.
is our windows sit up really high. And so this thing's going to butt up like right to the middle part of the window.
Oh,
And
no,
she's all
no,
right with that and doesn't
no.
think that's redneck. But if I put an awning above the window so that it looks like it's supposed to be there, that could be really hillbilly. Like,
No, I don't think that's hillbilly at all. I've seen it in action and I'm like,
okay,
this is a
good.
pretty sweet situation because yeah, you retract it. How are you going to hang lights from something that retracts into the wall though?
I'm not going to hang it from that. I'm going to hang lights. I'm going to build this contraption that hangs lights right under it. So the lights are always there. And then sometimes the awning can come out right over the lights.
Oh, you bougie.
Yeah, I'm going to get this thing looking good. Did you get invited to Shay's party?
No,
Oh,
your
shoot.
16-year-old daughter's birthday party.
I
Should
mean,
I
we
be
know
invited?
Shannon probably knows that you would never drive 2 hours to go to that. So why
You know
waste
what?
an invite?
You know what? For Shay, I would. I love her. I just talked to her. She told me she's talking to a boy. Ooh, ooh,
We're not
ooh.
going to talk
And
about
then
that.
I turned and I said, Shawn, what do you think of this? And she was like, he doesn't know. And I'm like, oh shit.
Or didn't know. I still really don't know outside of that conversation. I keep meaning to bring it up and being like, who is this asshole? But I haven't done it yet.
You know what though? But maybe it's not super serious. I mean, at that age, it's never super serious.
I mean, I look back and that's about the age this is scary for me to think about because Shay turns 16 next week. And so that's about the age where Shannon and I started getting more serious and like
Get it on.
I knew what the birds and the bees were at that point, and that scares me. Shay also though, she
She's a
seems like
good
a pretty
girl.
yeah, like but those are the ones that are scary usually because like on the surface they seem real good and then like they're not always.
Yeah, but that's your kid. She's a wonderful girl.
She is, and I trust the fact that she really is like a wonderful kid, but like I had a pretty good facade when I was that age that I was a good guy and I was a good kid, but I was thinking in my head about things that aren't good.
Do tell.
But I mean, it's not hard to figure
No,
out. I
I'm
don't need
kidding.
to lay it out.
So happy birthday to her. So do you think so if you order the awning that goes down from the wall, how much is that?
It's like $1,000 compared to 3.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do that
So
and try
I
it.
think, well, again, not all of us have $1,000 to just try out. I'm gonna need it to work out if I get it. It's not a tryout. I need this to work.
This is do or die.
It also weighs, it says that it weighs 700 pounds or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, easy install. Like it's one piece that weighs 700 pounds, and I'm trying to put it up 12 feet on the side of my house. How am I gonna get it up there?
You know what is so was it last year or the year this last summer or this no, it was last summer. We got a play thing for Murphy outside, like a slide and a little walking area. She can go from one little tower to another. And putting that together, that was like Ryan, my dad, my nephew. I mean, it was so many people and so many pieces to putting that together that I'm like truly impressed by people who do it on their own.
Can I be really honest with you? It was a moment when I was looking for these gazebos over the last 2 or 3 days. It
Yeah.
dawned on me and it made me sad because we moved away 5 years ago. We moved chasing the radio dream,
Yeah.
and it dawned on me when it's like these gazebos take 5 people 5 days to put together. Like, I don't have that where I live, and no one where I come from, where the people I know are going to come down for 5 days to put a gazebo together for me. So I have put myself in a situation where I can't ever have a gazebo because I don't have a team of people to put it together, and that's a sad thought,
Well,
Sadie.
where do you live? Do you live on Little House on the Prairie? You can't find anyone to come out
What am
and
I
do
going to go
it?
knock on my neighbors' doors that I've never met before and be like,
No,
"Hey,
I'm saying
I
go on.
got Coors Lights. You want to come put a gazebo together?" If someone did that to me, I'd be like, "Fuck no."
You're such a kind Christian man. I got
mean,
some
let's just be
Bud
real. No, you're
Light.
not going to do it either. You're not some rando. If it was my friend and he called me up and he was like, "Hey, dude, you want to come across town for some Coors Lights and put a gazebo together?" Of course, I'll do it. If it's my random neighbor I've never met before and he's like, "Hey, I got this gazebo from Costco. I got to put together. Will you come help me?" Most people are going to say no.
I think you tell anyone, hell no. I really do.
No, I wouldn't. I'm a good helper when it comes to those things. I've helped so many friends move. As a matter of fact, there was one friend who obviously can't be named. I helped him move one time and I moved his bed and I saw things that I never needed to see in my life. And I'm not talking about sexual things. I'm just talking about like the amount of
Cheeto
wrappers
wrapper.
and crumbs and just
I think that's a
nastiness under.
lot of people.
I was like,
That's
"Oh
me.
my God. Are you embarrassed that I'm seeing this right now?" Because he acted like it was normal.
Well, I think that's under like most people's bed. Stuff falls in the cracks, and then who every day is gonna pull out their bed and do a full cleaning?
That's true. You
No
would see
one.
if you pulled out my bed right now, you would see a lot of things. We use the under of our bed to store shoes. That's and over time, like the theory is you'll line them up real nice, right? But over
Yeah,
time, they just get
just
thrown
get
under
thrown
there, and it's
in.
just a tornado of shoes under there. But that's not as embarrassing as like ice cream wrappers and crumbs and just like shit it was gross. Like I couldn't believe that there wasn't bugs. There probably was. I didn't
There probably
examine.
were, yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, this is why we're moving.
Oh, it was
Too much
nasty.
night eating.
That was one of the last things. That was one of the last times I helped somebody move because I don't need to see that again. It was honestly a turnoff for me.
On
Like,
the friendship, you were like, we can't be friends because you're
not
this
the friendship
gross.
necessarily, but just like the like people live like this.
Oh
My house
yeah.
is not spick and span. Do not get me wrong. Like I'm not putting my nose up in the air and being like my house is perfect and there's never crumbs. I have 3 kids running around. We ain't perfect, but we also don't have that kind of shit going on.
Well, there's a difference between everyday clutter and, and then there's a difference, then there are people who they're really dirty. It's not like accidental dirty like us where it's like, "Oh my god, I just pulled the couch out and I got to vacuum it." It's like I pulled the couch out and I saw a bunch of wrappers and I pushed it back in for 6 more years. You know what I mean? Like I think that's so interesting. There's actually like an Instagram page, I think it is, that you can follow, and it's people who post things to like sell them or whatnot,
Yeah.
and people just look at the background. So it'll be like, I've got this box of DVDs for sale and it's sitting on a kitchen counter, and then you just see all the rotten shit everywhere. And I do know that that is like, I guess, like a mental illness, but I don't know how people live on it. When you watch on a show like Hoarders, A, you feel great about yourself. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm adulting. And then B, when you watch a house like Hoarders, it's really sad. And then the spouse has to walk through the little tiny hallways because there's so many boxes. And I've seen it where they're like, we can't use the bathroom anymore because she put stuff in the bathtub. I'm like, what?
It's crazy to me because I just have like this mental block where even if no one's coming over, like if there's a big clutter mess and it's been there for more than a day, I can't get anything else done in my day because I think about it.
I know. I'm
It
thinking
like
about
stops me.
this is what I'm going to do after we are done. I'm going to power wash the back patio. And I don't want to do it. I've been thinking, I've had to do this for so long, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't give a shit. But then, yeah, somebody will come over and be like, let's sit on the back patio. And it'll just be cobwebs and mouse shit. And I just can't be seen in that light, Shawn.
For sure. We have somebody coming to stay with us for about a week. And that's where this is a single dude, by the way, just a good buddy of mine who stays with us every now and then when he's in town. And he doesn't care. I think that his house is probably one of these wrapper houses that has a million things. He doesn't care, but still, like, it's just one of those things where you have company. So the house must be deep cleaned. So tonight that will happen. Like, it's going to be like cleaning baseboards and like deep cleaning. Because this
Really?
dude who does
Yeah.
not care one bit is coming over, but it's a mental thing. You got to do it.
So one of my aunts, she's Vietnamese. I've spoken of her before. Her name's Tui. She's the fucking coolest. But they came and stayed at our house, and they stayed in our basement, and it's finished. And so I went down and I vacuumed, and I always wash the bedding when someone comes so that's fresh and clean, and I always like light a candle, and I really do like clean pretty darn good, but I guess in her culture I did not because she asked me if I have any spray cleaner. And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "The shower." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
fuck. Okay, well, I think it's pretty clean." I mean, can you but, like, she is, like, next level. There are some cultures where it is like, "This ain't clean. You're dirty." She probably looks at me like I'm on Hoarders Buried Alive.
that's crazy. Imagine if she went into a house like that. I always used to think that about my grandma, my best friend grandma. She
Yeah.
would she would come over to my house and I thought it was pretty clean too. And she would go into the bathroom and she would find some corner that got missed. She would take toilet paper and she would wet it in the sink. She would clean that corner and she'd come out and she'd be like, "Look at what I found in your bathroom," and
You
make me feel
just
bad about it. And I was like, God, yeah, I thought I did good too. I spent a week cleaning this place because I knew you were coming over and I missed one spot and you found it.
Oh, grandma. What a great grandma. Can we pivot here? I do listen, to end that, I do think you should get the awning. I don't know, I just think it seems really easy, and at this point in
Yeah,
life
you go ahead and lift that 700
well, no,
pound piece of equipment and nail it to your wall. Easy.
really well, listen, what you gotta do is when your guy friend comes, you room and board means you gotta help me put this up,
Oh,
biatch.
I already
And
thought, but
don't
I still he's not like he's not some sort of superhero, and neither am I. And so two people lifting 700 pounds still seems like an impossible task. I'm
so
gonna need
wait,
about 7.
do
So
you wait, wherever you buy it never mind. I was gonna say, can you
no, they
hire
won't.
people to come, but you are totally
Here's the
wanting
other
to
thing that scares me too, and then you can pivot is you have to, and I'm never good about this, you have to find the stud, right? You have
act.
to, yeah, you have to drill it into something solid. And I'm the type that's just kind of lazy, usually like with pictures. I'll just whatever. Drywall will hold it. It ain't nothing holding this 700-pound thing unless you find the
No.
stud. And so I'm a little worried about that.
I would put it out
Because
there and
imagine
say,
that come crashing down on some 16-year-old kid at Shay's birthday party. I bet that lawsuit's
"Massacre
fun.
at the Sweet 16." That would
Have
be
an
awful. I
extra
don't know
hot
why
dog.
I'm
Don't tell your
laughing.
mom what happened.
Yeah, I could just see you guys outside and it just fall on one side, just come crashing down. Um,
All
anyway,
right.
let's pivot. Let's talk about I just read this today and it happened yesterday. For reference, it doesn't matter when it happened, I guess. But do you remember that show Super Size Me, that documentary?
Oh yeah,
Where
the guy died. I saw
the
that
guy
too.
died. The guy ate for okay. He made a lot of documentaries, but he was nominated for an Oscar for this documentary called Super Size Me.
It
And
was a big deal when it
it
came
was a
out
very
because I
big
wasn't a
deal.
documentary guy back then, and I remember watching it because you had to. It was a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah, so, he eats McDonald's for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week. Or
And
no,
he had
I'm
to
sorry,
supersize it
a
a
month,
month, and
and
he
he
always
had to
had
make
to
it large sized.
only when they asked, though, if I remember correctly. There was times where they wouldn't ask, and he didn't have to do it because it was like McDonald's thing back there, like when Dairy Queen has to do the upside
Oh,
down
yeah,
blizzard now. Yeah, back then, their thing was, "Do you want to supersize it?" And so
yeah.
if they asked, he had to say yes. But
Yeah,
anyway.
so this guy goes for a month, and in the very beginning, if you haven't seen it of the documentary, he goes and gets like blood work done, and they see where he's at. And then at the end of 30 days, he goes back, he gets blood work done, and it's like danger.
Yeah, he
You're not
jacked
looking too
himself up.
good. Well, so I remember watching that documentary and thinking, I am never eating McDonald's again. And I think I got a good weekend, and then we were just out, and I'm like, "You know what sounds good? A McDonald's Coke," because I think they put cocaine in it, but, he died. He died at the age of 53, which I remember my parents always saying this, but I never really could grasp what they were talking about, but I do now. 53 is really young. The older you get, I'm like, 53? That would mean if that were me, I'd have a little more than a decade.
Yeah,
I'm
53
gone.
is like the new 35 for real. Like that's young. That's young, young.
That's so
But I
young.
think you're trying to what I'm gathering here is you're trying to place this on the fact that he ate McDonald's straight for a month.
No, no, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm
Oh,
saying is this dude like started a revolution against McDonald's to like expose how bad it is. And then he dies. He died from complications of cancer at the age of 53. So when I read that this morning, I was like, what? And then I also thought, he was so young and maybe you should eat the McDonald's. Maybe you should supersize that shit while you're here. Because
no
one
one
day
asked him. No one asked him if he enjoyed his time more during that month, though. That's what I really want to know. Screw your health. Like, were you happier?
I
Probably
know,
not.
and no, they also did like a psychological thing, and I remember he kind of, I don't know, it like messed with the chemicals in his brain. I don't, I, this is awful, and none of my friends are like this because they're real adults adulting. But I love fast food. I love it. And every kind and any kind. It's such a disgusting thing, but I just love it so much. And I remember watching that and being like, I can't believe I'm never going to eat McDonald's again. And then again, a week later, like, this one doesn't count.
If I
I'm
do
going to
remember,
eat this because we're in town and it's right there, but I'm never doing it again. Flash forward like a decade, still going through that drive through.
if I remember correctly, it hurt McDonald's sales really bad for a few years. Like that documentary jacked McDonald's pretty bad, but now they're back to like record sales. And so clearly everyone forgot to. You weren't the only one is what I'm getting at is everyone stopped eating McDonald's when they put that out and now everyone is back eating McDonald's again.
Yeah, it's really is true, but it is interesting, and a lot of times in like instances like this documentary, there are a lot of documentaries that come out where I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that. It's just gonna mess me up. Like the super size me. I know McDonald's is bad. Everyone knows McDonald's is bad. I'm disgusted when I eat McDonald's. I also enjoy it very much, but like I don't want to watch a show about I think I'm just like one of those people where I'm like I just try to hide my head in the sand and be like this isn't bad. It'll be fine. You
Is
only live
there
once.
But is there something worse about McDonald's than making like a cheeseburger and fries at home or going to a sit down restaurant and having a cheeseburger and fries? Like, is it just the cheeseburger and fries is bad, or does McDonald's put some special dust in there that makes theirs extra
Well,
bad?
yeah, they're such a huge company that they have to come up with all these additives and stuff that will
Oh,
prolong the potatoes and the hamburgers. And I mean, who did I know who did this? Somebody bought a hamburger and kept it for like 5 years
oh
and it
yeah.
never changed.
Yeah, it doesn't ever get bad or anything. It doesn't mold or get rotten or disintegrate.
No, it just stays exactly like frozen in time. And you could eat it like a year later.
That's
And it
right.
isn't that
I
insane?
have
So
seen that too. That is pretty wild, and that I mean can't be good.
no, of course it can't be good, but
But
anyone
they
who eats McDonald's and is like, "I am eating healthy today," is in denial.
There's fast food places now though that don't do that. Like they make their living off of like not doing that and having fresh stuff. Like In-N-Out Burger is one of them I think of. The reason that we didn't have In-N-Out Burgers forever in Colorado is because they have to build like a warehouse because they want fresh stuff. And so they built the warehouse. Now we can have In-N-Out Burgers and you don't have to worry about that. So
Yeah. And since we're on McDonald's, they don't sell salads anymore. It used to be you could, if your family wanted a Happy Meal and your husband wanted to, you could try. They used to actually have these cool things. They were shaker cups
mhm.
and they had salad, and then you just shake them in the lettuce was probably
Yeah, it's sprayed with the
hormoned up,
same preserve it's sprayed with the
pesticides.
same shit that's in the hamburger. You might as well eat the Big Mac.
Well, Sean, I've learned since then to just eat the Big Mac. And so when I saw this morning that Morgan Spurlock had died, I was like, holy shit, you should have just indulged.
Well, he did. He did.
I don't think he did. I think he put that out to say, don't do this. Eat super clean. And then he dies so young. Doesn't that like mess with your head? That messes with my head.
Maybe, but maybe it was partly because he ate all of that junk. Maybe it's not like
For a
just affecting
month.
your heart. Maybe it affected his DNA and caused him to get the cancer, which killed him off. And if he wouldn't have done that for that entire month, where it morphed all of his genes and caused him to get cancer, he'd have lived to been 95.
I don't know. I think there are some people who eat McDonald's for every meal and they don't die. They eventually die, but they don't die. They just, I know, you think about older people, like I think about my grandparents, and I don't know. I'm going off track here. I just think you should eat the fucking Big Mac. That's it.
Yeah, my grandma ate a lot of Big Macs, and
And she lived a very long
yeah, she
life.
lived to 80 something, and the only reason she died was because she smoked a pack of like 7 packs of cigarettes a day for 20 years.
But she lived her life.
Yeah, she lived her life.
She did what I don't know, maybe that's a horrible lesson, but,
I also like wonder about the quality of life too. Like if you really get joy out of smoking 7 packs of cigarettes a day and you know that you're going to live to 85 instead
yeah,
of 95 and that last 10 years isn't going to be that good anyways cuz you're 85 to 95 years old, like do you smoke the cigarettes and enjoy the time that you have?
I
Do you eat the
say
McDonald's and take the 10 years
yes.
off the back end of your life?
Because if you think about it, if you're living that late in life, odds are your spouse has probably died, and so you're alone, and then your kids have grown up and they have lives of their own, and I don't know, I just think go out with a bang, smelling like nicotine,
It's
and
so weird though.
have
This
some
brings me
secret McDonald's sauce on your chin.
yeah. My
That's how I'm gonna
grandpa
go.
my grandpa who's still alive, and his spouse is still alive, by the way, he just turned 90 about a month ago, and he is going in for actually, it's like in a day or 2, he's going in to get his knee replaced at 90 years old, and I point
What?
blank asked him, it's kind of a grim question, but I point blank asked him, I was like, "What are the risks, first of all, of getting a knee replacement at 90 years old? And 2, like, why like, just deal with a little knee pain and not have to go to physical therapy and get it why at
Yeah, but could you
90?"
imagine hitting that stage in life where they're like, I'm surprised they would operate on somebody at 90 because that
He said, yeah, he's
seems
like,
like really?
technology's so he told me the doctor said technology is so good that he will be 100% in 6 weeks
Shut up.
from the time they cut his knee open, put a metal rod in there, and then in 6 weeks, he's good to go, and he's like, "My knee hurts so bad right now, it's worth it to me."
Well,
And so
yeah, you're saying just a little bit of pain. If it's like debilitating where you cannot walk, that's a big deal.
I guess I don't wanna get my knee replaced at 35.
No, that's rough. My dad
It's
was
90.
supposed listen to this crazy story. My dad was supposed to get knee surgery, and then on Fox News, they sell this miracle drug. It's like a pill. God, what is it called? And it's supposed to help with that stuff. And it worked. The pain went away. And so then I had like a year later, I was having issues with my sciatic nerve, and so and he gave me a bottle of it. It didn't work for me, but I tell you what, he doesn't need surgery. It went from like really intense pain to just like gone.
That's crazy. You're gonna have to send me this stuff because I love taking pills that I don't know what exactly they are or what they do, and so I'll take them. I don't even really have that much pain, but I still have a problem with my knee that makes me not be able to run, and so give
It's
me
so funny though, because like they live in a small town in Wellington. And I heard him say the other day, well, that medicine isn't working for that guy because he'll like my dad like spreads the word. This company needs to pay him because he goes around and he'll buy it for people and he'll be like, your back hurt here. Okay, here are the pills. And I'm like, Dad, you're a hustler. You should be making money. But he so believes in this product.
Is it called She Legit?
It's called if I found out my dad was taking She Legit, I'd be terrified.
I'm gonna start it here in about a week.
Are you? Don't do
Yeah.
that, because what if you die and I bought
I'm
this
not
stuff
gonna die. They
fine?
can't sell shit on Amazon that's gonna kill you.
I don't know. They sure can, I think. Um, let's end this episode, shall we, Shawn?
Alright.
Okay, so we're gonna end that today by thanking our sponsors at Cristiana Salon and Spa. if you're a teacher or an educator, I think every parent should chip in so educators should go and get free massages because we're about to go into summer and I am like, oh my God, it's so hard. You need a break. You need to go in and see Cristiana Spa and Spa. Or maybe you're not a teacher and you just like getting rubbed down. I love getting massages and facials, and they do hair and nails as well. And Shawn, tell them about the men's area, would you?
Oh yeah, there's a whole barber shop in there. It's kind of cool.
It's so cool. It's amazing.
There's like
So,
all these little stations in there. We went and visited the other day, and it's really really cool. There's the station for the men's barbershop, and then there's the coloring station for getting your hair colored. And they have all these crazy colors that I thought was pretty cool. I was messing with them. So if you go in to get your hair dyed pink and it turns out green, it's probably because I switched the boxes. Sorry.
and
about that.
they're gonna create a phrase called, "Oh, it's the Shawn effect."
But then they have this whole area on the one side that's the spa, and back there they've got like
Oh,
the massage tables and the waxing. Then it's a very zen back there.
and
The
they
whole
have
place
like
is really cool.
they have like hot stones. Oh, it's a good
Plus, they
place
have
to
this
go.
whole area in there too, which fat boy talking here. It's like snacks and drinks, and
It's
you can
very
have
bougie.
champagne, or you can have a beer, or you can have a soda, or a LaCroix, or whatever you want. They have like it's just a relaxing experience from start to finish. Cool place.
It is, and if you go in and say Sadie and Shawn have no friends, that's your code word to get 10% off. And listen, if you're getting pampered, 10%, that's going to go a long way. So you're going to save some cash. Go and see them. They're in Johnstown, Colorado by the Shields. And that's it for today. Thanks for Shawn's yawning, so I'm going to let him go get his nap in.
All right, bye.
Bye.